What's up, everyone? It's TwixxyTime, and on my YouTube channel I'm going to be starting a new video series known as TwixxyTime Tutorials, where I'll be going over the various maps in Tarkov, how I play them, the spawns, the loadouts that I recommend, and the way I have the most success on those maps. Full disclosure, I am not trying to claim that this is the correct or proper way to play these maps. Tarkov is all about survival. You can play them however you want. I advise that you play it the way you find the most fun. But for me, this is how I have found the most success on the map. This is how I like to play the map, and this is where I have found the most fun on those maps. The first map we're going to be talking about is Reserve. It's one of my personal favorite maps. It's one of my favorite maps to run solo. I find it's got a lot of different ways of fighting multiple people, so when you're playing by yourself, it makes it a lot easier to escape fights, to dictate the speed of fights, and just an all-around fun map to play, especially when you play it the way that you find the most fun. So without any more to say, let's get right into Reserve. Alright guys, the first thing we're going to be talking about when talking about Reserve is the loadouts that I personally like to use and the reasons why I use them. First, let's talk about the keys that I like to use. The really important keys that you should keep in mind are the two marked room keys. The way I run this map and the way that I'm going to be running this tutorial, there's about 1 billion keys for this map, and all of them have a purpose, and they're all pretty decent and also fairly expensive. But the only keys that I like to use for my runs are the marked room keys. RBBK, this is the Black Pond marked room, and then you have the RBVO, which is the outdoor marked room. These are the only keys that I typically use on the map, because the way I run it, I try to hit drop room, which you do not need a key for. There is a key that will open the drop door, but I just go through the window, drop down, grab something, and run out. I hit King, I hit the marked room, and then I hit the underground. There's really there's multiple keys that you can get along the way. I just don't use them because I try to run the map as quickly and efficiently as possible, and just trying to hit all these different keys in all these different rooms, it kind of slows down my timings, it slows down my movement. I like to just try to get in, get out, and try to get out with, you know, marked room loot, maybe a graphics card, maybe a Tetris, an Asa, hopefully. But yeah, those are really the only keys that you have to really worry about, and the only keys I recommend buying for the map. There's obviously tons of keys for the map. They're all really, really good. But for me, those are the keys I use. On top of that, I always run a full stack of grenades. Once again, grenades in this game, I do not use them to try and kill people typically. I use grenades, especially when I'm playing solo. You use them to reposition, right? When you're playing solo, you're playing against multiple people, typically 2 or more. And so when fighting multiple people, having grenades is just a super huge utility that is almost a necessity when running solo. You know, you can use a grenade to get someone off of a position, to get someone off of a peak, to get someone away from you if you're trying to run away, to try to heal, to try to mask sound. I use grenades all the time to throw at them, and so they run away so that I can push to a new position because they won't hear my footsteps over the sound of themselves running away from a grenade. Grenades are just super important to have. I recommend using them. The armors that I like to run on this, anything that has stomach protection. Stomach protection, in my opinion, on Reserve is super, super strong, purely because a lot of people run 12-gauge shotguns, pistols, KS-23s. These are all guns that if they hit you in the stomach without stomach protection can really, really ruin a run for you. So having something that'll guard your stomach is super important on this map. Another thing that I like to run helmets. Some people claim that they really don't do anything, especially fighting against, you know, top tier ammo. But a lot of times I run into 6.3 9mm on this map, and if you're getting head-eyes a lot on the map, I also recommend wearing an Alton, a Rise T. These helmets right here, 6.3 won't even hurt them. So if you're getting killed by submachine guns a lot on the map, because you will see a lot of submachine guns on the map, using one of those helmets will help you. I always try to run a U-lock. Some people run shatter masks as well. I've actually had shatter masks bounce BP rounds before. So it's all preference. It's all what you're into. I typically like having headphones when running, especially if I'm running solo, because utilizing the sound on the map can help you immensely, especially when you're running by yourself against multiple teams. So let's talk about the guns that I recommend for this map. The first and foremost, any submachine gun. My favorite gun at the moment is the MP7, but obviously the Vector, which is just a bullet hose, super strong for the map. ARs also very good. HKs, M4s, AKs, and DTMDRs. I like the DTMDR purely because 308 is just gorgeous. And then if you're good at range fighting, if you're good at sniping, if you're good at hitting those distance shots, I recommend running something like an M1A or an SR25. Both just crazy good guns, especially if you run the Voodoo. The Voodoo is one of my favorite scopes in the game. It's so nice because you can run it on one of these guns without having to, buy, a DP, an extra sight on top of it. You don't need this. You don't need to build a canted sight on it. The Voodoo, you can put it on the one side, the one times, and it's just as good as like a PK06. I mean, it's all preference once again. So like if you like running a canted sight, go ahead, do your thing. It's just a little bit more expensive. And then a lot of people are going to get mad at me for this because a lot of people think this gun is cheesy and super frustrating, which it is. But a really good budget run is obviously, I like to buy the Rat Rig. This is a rig you can buy from Ragman. I believe you get it from level 3. It's a level 4 armored rig. This guards your stomach. It's armored. It's a rig. It's a combination of things that you want. You can run that with a KS23. I know, I'm sorry, don't hate me. But if you're running low on funds, you don't want to really risk a whole bunch of gear, and you're just trying to do these speed runs on reserve that I'm going to show you how to do, this gun right here is an absolute just beast in these types of runs, dude. You can take down guys wearing, this kit with just one nice shot. Obviously, you need to bring meds. I can go over specifics of meds later. Right now, all the things you really need to keep in mind is hemostats, IFAKs, Silewas, or Grizzlies, depending on your playstyle. But as of right there, that's my loadout. That's what I like to wear. Obviously, always bring a backpack to reserve. I always recommend a backpack. But that is the loadouts that I personally recommend for the map Reserve. To start out with, we're going to go over the spawns on the map and where people are going to be based off of your spawn on the map. Alright, so the first spawn we're going to be talking about, this is right outside of the Black Pond spawn building, marked building, and also drop building. And the spawns that you have to be cautious of when you spawn here. Let's talk about it. There's a spawn at that bunker right there. So these people can be running from that bunker across the way here. That's one spawn you have to worry about. There's a spawn over there. I'll show you closer. They spawn over there. So typically when you spawn over there, a team is either going to sit and snipe for the team that's coming from here, or they're immediately going to run for drop building. The last spawn that you really have to worry about is the spawn up top next to Dome. A lot of these teams, they'll either go into Dome and loot the buildings up there, or they'll come running down this hill face, going into marked building. So this is the first hermetic on the outside of marked building and or Black Pond. The second spawn we will talk about is this spawn right here. This spawn is the other bunker behind drop building across from the adjacent bunker. So this spawn right here, the spawns that you have to worry about off the bat. Once again, the first spawn we showed at this other hermetic, they either are going to be running across this field to marked building, or they will be running across this field to go to drop building, depending on what that team is looking for. The spawn that you're going to most likely contest with, if you don't see this spawn right off the bat, is obviously the spawn at this area right here, this sniper building. Some people call it dark building. There's a spawn that happens right here, and a lot of times they'll sit in this area right here waiting for you to run across. This is something that when you're running, I like to just use my head turn and just try to peek that angle. This is the next spawn that we'll be talking about. This is dark building. Some call it sniper building. Some call it brick building. There's a bunch of different things that you can name this building. I call it dark building. Do be cautious of this spawn. If you are spawning with a team of 4 or more, there is times where this spawn will get split into 2 groups. The other spawn that is relevant to this spawn is right over here. Remember, this could be the same team. I've accidentally shot plenty of teammates because of this glitch. I don't know if it's a glitch or it's intentional. Maybe you can't fit 4 people inside of dark building. But if you're playing with a team larger than 3, I would even say larger than 2, half of you can spawn inside the dark building, and the other half of you will spawn at this crate. Sometimes over here by this wall as well. So if you spawn here and you're in a team of 3 or more, make sure to check around you. Make sure that you know where the rest of your team is. So when you spawn here, like what I like to say is, hey, did anyone spawn dark? Did anyone spawn in the dark building? And if they say, yeah, I spawned dark building, now I know when I come running over here not to just annihilate my teammate who's going to be running across right here. So when you get this spawn, either you're going to spawn in this crate or you're going to spawn inside dark building. You're going to run across here. The spawns that you need to be worried about, this spawn is actually fairly safer than other spawns, because when you spawn here, if your teammates spawn inside this dark room right here, that means that you guys have taken this whole spawn spot right here. So the only spawns that you guys have to really be worried about are the second spawn that I showed at the other bunker over there, which is that spawn over there, because a lot of times if someone spawns at that bunker, they'll run to this hill right here. They'll try to lay down or crouch and try to snipe you as you're trying to maneuver. So that's what you really need to be cautious of and be looking for when you come out of here. Another thing you need to be worried about is if you're using this spawn and you're immediately going to drop building, the people that spawn at the first spawn that I mentioned can get into this room before you. So if you're running up the sign or if you're going inside of drop building, just do be aware that there is most likely a team in there already ready for you. Alright, this is the next spawn. Do be aware, I've only gotten this spawn playing solo. Whenever I run this map solo, this is a spawn that I've gotten actually quite frequently. So this spawn right here, once again, I've only gotten it playing solo, so I don't know if it's an only solos spawn. But the spawns that you need to be cautious of at this spawn point are obviously the people spawning at this crate over here or in dark building right there. I've had multiple times where I'm playing solo and I'll come running across here and I'll see people running across this courtyard towards drop building. So what I like to do is I like to just aim this down because this is a spawn that you have to be cautious of. You have to be looking out for it. They can sometimes run towards this area as well. Just make sure you're using your ears, listening to hear if they're coming up this way. The other spawn that you really need to be cautious of at this area is the people who spawn outdoor marked, which is the next spawn we'll be talking about. Typically, this team that spawns here is either going to come running over this hermetic right here, or they're going to be going into the marked room outdoor. So this is outdoor marked spawn. So this spawn right here, you are the closest and you are the first person to get to outdoor mark. At this spawn, the spawns that you have to be cautious of, obviously if you have outdoor marked, obviously hit it. You're the first one there, you're the closest to it, you're the first dibs on it, so take it. The solo spawn in this hermetic door is one spawn you have to be worried of. The spawn all the way across at that metal container that I have already showed you. They can come across these mounds here to try to fight you. And then the main spawn that you have to really be cautious of is the spawn that happens next to these trains, next to the field. They can come across this field right here and they can be running for marked room, or they can just be looking for a fight. Let's talk about the next spawn. Okay, so this spawn, I like to call it tanker spawn or train spawn, depending on what you want to call it. It is right behind White Knight right here. So the spawns that you have to be worried about when you spawn here, depending on the route you want to take, you have outdoor marked over there. So if this is a path that you're trying to take, you have the RBVO key, you want to try to hit that outdoor marked. You're gonna be fighting someone in there because someone can spawn directly next to it, and you are not the first one to get there. You are the second spawn for the RBVO room. The second thing that you have to really be cautious of is people can spawn in this bunker here, or this bunker. They will be coming across the field. They can run across the field. They can look at you. You're going to be fighting them. So if your pathing is to White Knight, you have to be cautious of the people to your right. What I like to do is while I'm running, I like to keep my eye out for it because people can run across the field here and you can catch them with their pants down. So I have spawned in both of these bunkers, so I'm going to just combine them together. I've also ran into teams, especially playing solo, I've also ran into teams at either one of these bunkers as well. Alright, another spawn. Once again, you can either spawn in this bunker. I think you can spawn in this bunker. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll have to fact check that. But you can also spawn in this bunker. I have ran into teams here. So whether you spawn in that bunker or this bunker, just keep an eye out. I could be wrong, but I've 100% spawned in this bunker, came running up this hill, and immediately have seen a team running across right here, and I've had to just melt them. So either one of these bunkers you can spawn in. The spawns that you have to be worried about, depending on which bunker you spawn in, obviously the adjacent bunker is something that you should keep an eye out. The train spawn is obviously one that you need to be worried about. And at this spawn, there is a spawn at Dome. And if they're fast enough, if say you're dropping loot to a friend, or you're, getting yourself ready, you have to like search a rig or something like that. If you're late out of these bunkers right here, someone can get into Dome or get onto these rocks up here with a sniper rifle and try to pop shots off at you as you're running across here. The next spawn we'll be talking about. All right. This is the next spawn we'll be talking about. This is Red Roof. I call it Red Roof. Some call it like mechanic shop. This is the courtyard. This is Black Knight. This is White Knight. Depending on your loot path or where you want to run to, is dependent on like what spawns you need to really worry about. This, in my opinion, is one of the safer spawns. Purely because the spawn on the doors behind White Knight, they have to do some serious running to try to catch up to you. Obviously, if you wanted to be that guy, you could run through these doors right here and try to hold this angle. They will be running through here, or they might be running through here, or they could just go directly into White Knight. There is an Asus spawn in there. So if you wanted to just bunker down here and try to fight, that's an option. The spawn that you really have to worry about is obviously the Dome spawn. If these guys are not immediately running to Black Pawn or Marked Room or White Pawn to go underground, they're typically snipers, and they're going to be sitting on these rocks up here. There's also a mounted GL at the top of this hill as well. They can also be going up to Dome. So if you're not going to sit here and try to take a fight, I recommend making a dash for one of the high tier loot areas, get in and out, and just try to get through it as efficiently as possible. Because being outside near Dome, it's just a death sentence. A lot of snipers on this map, a lot of people that are just sitting up there trying to get free kills. The fact that you can actually spawn in this room, I think, is a little bit kind of bogus. Because this is a high loot area. On these shelves, you have Tetrises, you have graphics card potentials, you have sparse military loot like filters, just a ton of loot in here. And it also is like the fastest path to get to the underground, where you can fight raiders. There's also intel and other spawns like that. So at this spawn, the only spawns that you really have to be worried about are the Red Roof building, people that spawn inside there. I'll show you that real quick. That building right here, they can be running from, that building right there, they can be running from there to you. Dome spawn is also a contestant for this spawn. Other than that, this is really kind of an easygoing spawn. So this spawn right here, you can spawn all around this area. This is directly next to Dome, and it's right up the hill from Black Pawn. Depending on your loot path and depending on how you want to play this, you can either immediately go underground from Dome, or you can run to Marked Room to try to get the Marked Room loot. The spawns, there's not really spawns that you're going to be contesting with per se at this spawn, you're kind of... This is kind of like the best spawn in the game. It's not the best for loot. It's not the best for like timings or anything like that. It's purely one of the best spawns in the game because you get to dictate the pace of your own game here, right? At the other spawns, you have to be moving. You have to try to get to a certain location at a certain time because you're going to be competing against other people also running to those destinations. And it's always better to be in those spots first, other than like trying to contest for those spots, right? So this is one of those spawns where you kind of have free reign. You're not in any stressful situations. You're not trying to get to point A to point B as fast as you physically can. And it's also a really good spot. If you're a sniper, you can stay up here and try to snipe at people. If you're an aggro player and you're trying to contest, this is also like if you want to run down this hill right here and head towards Black Pawn. Black Pawn's right here. The spawn that you have to contest if you're running to Black Pawn, obviously the spawn that spawns at this hermetic right here, I guess this bunker that are going to be running in there, you're not first to anything at this spawn. That's the one negative part about this spawn, but you are coming in later, right? So you can listen and use the surroundings to kind of dictate the path that you take, right? One of the stronger things you can do here is try to sit here and try to snipe people trying to get into Black Pawn. You can like be an eyewitness to see if people run in there. You can also hear a lot of combat if people are in drop building fighting each other. You can also go into White Pawn and go underground immediately. The one spawn, I don't know if you can share this spawn with other teams. I have to check on that. But the last spawn I'll show you, and I don't know if you can get this spawn. I don't know if this spawn is possible. If anyone knows, make sure to comment in the comments below. But the last spawn that I've received on this map, the last spawn that I believe is on this map, is the stairs to under. So this spawn right here, I'm not 100% sure if you get this spawn, if another team can spawn at the previous spawn I showed you. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to do some fact checking again. But this is kind of a powerful spawn here. The reason I say this is kind of a powerful spawn is because there's such thing as extract camping in this game. This is like an extract camper's like wet dream spawn right here. Because this door opens up, it takes you directly to D2. He doesn't even have to do any motion. He just goes immediately to his designated position and just sits there for the rest of the game. Whereas you can also go through D2. I like this spawn a lot because I can go through D2, through the underground, fight raiders, hit marked room, try to go to drop, and I know fairly certain. So say if I go into like the power room of underground and I kill some raiders and I kill PMC, I am fairly certain that no one's extract camping D2 because I literally just came from there. Right, so like it kind of gives you that that clairvoyance or that peace of mind that if you get through this raid quickly, you're not gonna have a lot of contest on your way out. So this is also a really powerful spawn. You can also go up top, see if that spawn, the last spawn I just showed you, can spawn there. Maybe you can get a fight there. You can also go up top, go sniping if you want. But that, my friends, is all of the spawns on reserve. Next up, we're going to be talking about loot paths and things you have to worry about once you get off of spawn. On reserve, the areas of the map that I can test and or transition through on my runs are either going to be Drop Building, Black Pawn, White King or Tech Building, and Outdoor Marked. These are all reliant on the spawn I get, of what order I hit them in, and how fast I go through them. The first spawn that we're going to talk about, I will either go through Black Pawn to Marked, or I go to Drop Building, where I will then transition back to Black Pawn and Drop. The next spawn that we talk about, I will immediately go to Drop Building, where I'll transition to Black Pawn, or I immediately go to Black Pawn depending on the situation. The next spawn that we'll talk about, I put these together because sometimes they're the same spawn, but either one I get, I always immediately transition to Drop Building, where I will head underground or Black Pawn. The next spawn, we will immediately go to outdoor marked, or I will go to drop building depending on what's around me and what I hear. On the next spawn, it's an easy one, immediately go outdoor marked and then transition. The next spawn, I either go to outdoor marked or I transition to white night depending on the situation. On the next spawn, I put them together because sometimes they're the same spawn, but either one I get, I always go immediately to white night and transition to tech. On this spawn, I always go to tech building or white king. This is white king spawn, loot the building, go. On the dome spawn, I either go black pawn or white pawn, depending, or I go immediately underground. Now that we know what my pathing is, depending on my spawn, I'll show you a live rendition of what it looks like through those spawns. So this is one of the spawns. This is an outdoor spawn. Now, if you have a shotgun on this spawn, not your best spawn, not your favorite place to be. But since you're here anyway, we're going to hit the outdoor marked room. So the outdoor marked room, when you spawn in this building, will be here. This right here is called train station. There's a lot of callouts for them. White Rook. I call it train station. This building to our right is marked building, outdoor marked building. Those buildings over there are K's. These are hills, or I call them, my call out for these is tits. So here you want to try to run into this marked room as fast as you can. If you get that spawn, you are the first one here. Guaranteed. You are 100% the first person to get here. You're going to unlock this. And inside you're going to have, obviously, marked loot. You got a gun, you've got ammo, and a VPX, which is pretty cool. Alright, so now that you're here, the people that you have to worry about. The people you have to worry about when you are at this spawn is the spawn that's on the other side of these hills. So if they spawn on the other side of these hills, they are going to go one of two places. They're either going to go to drop building, or they're going to come across this hill to you. The other spawn you have to worry about is the spawn to the right, over there, on the other side of those fences. When they spawn over there, they can run here. So by the time you get done looting marked room, you have to be cautious of the guys running up here. So the way I like to play this is after I hit marked room, if I'm rocking a shotgun, I like to sit here and wait for a minute, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. I'll sit and wait, I'll listen. If they are coming from over there, you will hear bushes, you will hear rustling, you will hear them running up on you. You can hold them here and try to rat them out, kill them that way. Or if you're trying to play fast and loose, you grab that marked loot, you come over here, you peek this. Obviously, you want to see if they're coming from over here. This is where you will see them, by this train, by over here, and then you can just try to run away from it. I don't like going towards knights. It's just a lot of ranged combat that you're not going to really enjoy. Once again, if you have a gun like this, like an MP7, you can take some of those more ranged altercations. So we're going to run across the tits. Gluhar can spawn inside of K's, so be ready for that. One of his guards will sit right here, or he'll sit right here at these sandbags. If you want to try to take that fight, if you want that raider loot, if you need to kill Gluhar, this is a chance where you can do that. But if you know he spawns here, you're going to have to fight here, and out in the open and in K's, the chances of survival, even if you kill all of the raiders, are low because of the other PMCs that are going to try to contest you in those areas. So what I like to do, there's also a med spawn right here. You can see an IFAC, sometimes Salewas, other pain meds can spawn here. I like to run across tits. Go through this hole in the fence. Now, if you get the outdoor spawn, the spawn over here, there's a spawn right over here on this hill or in this little house right in front of us, this brick house you see right in front of us. There's another spawn here. So they can be waiting for you. They can be sitting in here. A lot of people like to snipe off this balcony. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to be ready to contest that. So when you run through here, you want to be careful. They can be in the sniper tower. They can be sitting underneath the sniper tower. So you want to be peeking these angles like you're ready for a fight. You want to check these areas right here. Also, you want to try to listen for sounds. Inside this building, it's all wood. So if you're running up on this and you hear this sound, that means people are inside this building. Now, the ways you want to try to contest this building, if you're right here, obviously, if you're rocking a shotgun, this is a decent fight for you. This is not a bad fight. This is a fight I'd recommend taking. If they're up here, you can obviously throw a grenade up top. Try to push up. The reasons I use grenades for positioning is when that grenade goes off, they're not really listening to footsteps all that well. So you can run here and you can position. Remember, you're aiming for legs here. So you can look inside. You heard them on wood. You know they're here. You can contest them here. They might be up top. If they are up top, one of a good angle here is you can pre-aim this. Okay, apparently that grenade goes outside of the map. Does that really? Wow, okay, so I found a little glitch. That's news. But I was trying to bank that grenade off the ceiling to here, but that's not an option. If they're up top here, you're going to want to try to go into a different angle. Take the fight here. The reason you have to take this fight is because if they're sniping here, your next position is going to get shot in the back. So you want to try to run to now the new high contest, the new area, which is a high contest area on this map. This is what's known as drop building. The reason it is called drop building is because if you don't have the key to the drop room, you have to drop out of the 3rd floor to get there. Now, the 2 ways to get into this building. If you're late here, if you spawn outside, if you spawn where we spawned, where you hit outdoor marked room, correct? You coming here, more than likely, there's people either inside still, or they've already hit drop room and they have moved on to the next loot area, correct? So if you're trying to not fight, if you're trying to stay away from fighting, if you're trying to just loot and scoot, fighting this is probably not your best bet. What you want to try to do is you want to get inside, go down these stairs, and then you're going to start hitting the underground section of the tutorial. But before we do that, we're gonna go about, you're a Chad, you're a badass. What you can do is you can run up this sign, come up here, jump up here. Now be careful, people can be holding you here. That made a lot of noise. You made a lot of noise coming up this ramp. So people can be contesting you here. You wanna run inside. You wanna peek your angles. Now, the most contested angle that you're gonna be fighting right here is this hallway, right here. But the way I like to take this fight is you come through here, peek down here. Now, the only loot in this building that's really worth a damn is the loot inside of drop building. So when you've come up top here, you want to peek this hallway. Make sure that people like to sit in this angle. Some people like to peek you from the doorways. And some people like to sit inside this top area. So what you can do is you can go here. Now, inside these rooms is wood. Listen for wood. Listen for wood. If you hear wood underneath you, that means they're inside of drop building. So what a lot of people will like to do, and a reason why this gun right here is so widely used on this map, is because when you drop down, furthest right window, when you drop down here, you want to try to drop to where you have this wall as cover. And the reason you want to try to drop into this wall is because a lot of people who are already in marked room will sit like this. And they'll hold for you to drop. And the second you drop in front of them, you drop here, boom. You're getting your legs fucking blown off. You're getting very hurt. So come off this window, come into here. You can either throw a grenade, bank it off this wall, which will get this guy to move, or get somebody in here to move. And then you can lean peek in. If you see their legs, boom, you know, give them the old fucking toe tapper. If you have an SMG, when you drop down here, hip fire is your friend, guys. Hip fire is super important here, where you can. These are fights that are easy to take with these types of submachine guns. But if you're using the shotgun, you peek in. You can obviously peek over here as well. Once you're inside drop building, you want to try to get in and out as soon as possible. There is a fucking grenade launcher on that hill at those sandbags right there. A lot of people, what they like to do is there is a spawn right here up top. And what they'll do is they'll run to this grenade launcher and they'll sit on it and wait for you to come into this building. They will literally sit there and watch this windowed area. And the second you drop down and you come in here, they're going to start firing that grenade launcher like no one's fucking business. Now, your chances of survival when that grenade launcher starts going off are very, very low. But inside of drop, you have chances of graphics cards, Tetrises, other high-tier loot on these shelves, on this desk, on these shelves. I've seen things spawn on here, like this motor. I've seen things spawn on this shelf. Do not, and I repeat, do not search the duffel. Do not search these computers. It is not worth your time. Remember, this map is all about speed and efficiency, okay? So once you're in here, you look for the high tier loot. You're looking, you're looking, you're looking. You're like, okay, I don't see anything worth of fucking value here. And so the next place that I personally like to go is what's known as Marked Building or Black Pawn. So I like to jump out here. If you hug this wall and land on this ledge, you do not take fall damage. If you do not land on this ledge, you take fall damage. Not a lot, but a little. So when you come through here, you want to run across, run into marked. Now, this is another highly contested area of the map. So you want to be prepared for combat. Places you want to be prepared for combat: this building, and the underground of reserve. These are places where a lot of people are going to be going, going to be transitioning through. So there's a high often chance that you're going to be fighting in these locations. So keep your focus. When you're here, people can be sitting in this room. Go off a sound. Remember, this is wood. If you hear this, glass. This is a glass room. If you hear wood and glass, this is where you're going to be seeing them. So if you hear any of those things, remember, pre-aim your angles. Watch your angles. Now, if you have a shotgun in this area, this is not the fight for you. This is a long angled fight. This is not something you want to deal with. So if you have a shotgun, you want to peek this close angle. You want to peek this angle right here, this angle right here. If you don't see anything, you want to try to run underground as soon as possible. Now, people like to hold these stairs. So you want to be pre-aiming these spots. You want to be ready to, bat the fuck out of somebody if they're holding these stairs. So once you're down here, if you know the coast is clear, you're safe, you're good to go. You come through here, make sure to peek your angles. You want to check everything. Now, this is what's known as gym. This is marked gym. So in here, people like to sit in here behind these workout equipment. Some people will sit right here. These are common angles that you want to make sure that you're pre-aiming. So what I like to do, this door spawns shut. So what I'll do is I'll come over here, hit this, run over here, because a lot of people will be holding for this door. They will shoot you through the door. They will shoot you the second the door opens. This will give you, obviously, an audio cue, right? The second they start shooting through that wall, you know exactly where they are, so you can swing, try to get them in the fucking legs. Now, with this gun, since there's workout equipment here, not the angle for you. You want to try to come up and just hope to God they don't have a fucking visor, right? So this is one angle. The next angle they like to hold is behind this workout equipment. So pre-aim this, and then keep your aim and just swing as you aim this angle, because they like to hold this door. So when you come to here, this door spawns open, all right? So if you come over here and you see that this door is shut, if you come to this side, you see this door is shut, that is an obvious sign that someone has either already hit marked room or they're holding marked room, correct? So when you come here, you want to open the door. If you have a grenade, bank it off of this wall right here. That grenade will bounce over towards marked room. What this is going to do for you is the guy holding this angle, or the guy holding this angle, or if the guy has already opened marked room, he will be holding this angle, right? There's 3 angles, all the same peak, but 3 different depths of that same angle. So what that grenade's going to do for you is it's going to what's called push someone off of their hold, right? So this guy's holding for you here, whether it's a KS or a submachine gun. He's holding headshot angle right here. He wants you to swing on him so that he can get that free headshot on you. But when you throw this grenade and bounce it off, he has to go back into the room, which gives you an opportunity to bounce this grenade off and then lean peek this, see if he runs. So what I like to do, especially if I'm running the KS, I'll bounce this grenade. The second I bounce the grenade, depending on the grenade you have, I like to use F1s, RGDs, or M67s. The reason I like to use these grenades is they have a fairly decent high timer before they explode. So when I throw the grenade, I immediately peek so that I can see what room they are in. So if I throw this grenade and I see this guy who's holding this go, oh shit, I can hear him run upstairs. Or if I see the guy holding this go, oh fuck, and he runs down here. Or if I see him holding this and I hear him run into marked room, I have a better idea of where my enemy is. Now, be careful. One of the most common things for duos and trios, team fights, if you're a solo, what a lot of people will like to do to hold this hallway is one guy will hold that angle, and then somebody else will be sitting right in here waiting for you to swing so that he can shoot you in the back when you're trying to fight his friend, okay? So what this grenade is really good for, especially if you're using a KS shotgun, is when you bounce the grenade off that wall, you swing in for a second. Remember, you only got about 5 seconds to do this fight, because if you're standing out here, there's a chance this grenade, you know, gets caught up somewhere. It can kill you. You don't want to kill yourself with your own grenade. It's a rookie move. So when you come through here, bounce the grenade off this wall, swing in here. If they're in there, pop a shot at his fucking legs. Now you know he's either dead or hurt, and his boy is nowhere to be seen because he cannot contest because of the grenade you throw. So remember, throw the grenade, swing, shoot, come back in. If you see someone there and you know he didn't just die there, you're going to have to bank another grenade off this wall to try to take this fight again, because his boy is going to be sitting there waiting for you to take that fight again. So if he shuts the door on you, this gun will 100% go through this door. So throw another grenade, pop another shot, and then what you can do if he shuts that door is you can try to take this fight. So throw a grenade, pop, and then if there's no one there, so when you swing this, throw the grenade, you swing this, see no one's there, now you need to be ready for this next fight. What I like to do is wide swing, mostly because a lot of this stuff, if you try to do a short peek with a shotgun, a lot of this stuff is going to keep you from shooting them in the legs. Now, this gun is super powerful as long as you're not shooting at armor. If you're shooting at somebody's armor, you're not going to be doing any legitimate damage to them. So you want to try to aim for legs. If you see they don't have a visor on their helmet, then go for the headshot. These are fights that you need to keep in mind. If you swing, you see a dude with a helmet on, you do not want to try to go for the head eyes. You want to try to go for the cankles. So when you swing in, boom, grenade, check this angle. Now you know there's only one guy if he's at marked. So you want to try to wide swing. If he swings out, boom, hit him in the legs. And then another big thing, if you hit them with this gun, most people are going to panic. They're going to be like, fuck, I need to get out of here. So they're going to try to run away. Be aggressive. You're not rocking a super expensive kit. For example, this kit, I mean, this kit's more expensive, but when you have the Huggies and the shotgun and these headphones, your kit on average is going to be about 112,000 rubles, 120,000 rubles, as long as you have your dealers. So I've already made my money back with one VPX. I've made my money back. Now, if I take something out of my butt, put this in, obviously you guys could run with an empty ass and just put all your loot in there. This VPX will pay for a whole nother run, 100%. This VPX, even if I die with it, you can either use it to build something in your hideout, or you can just sell it to dealers. Now, if you kill this guy, you come in here, look, like I said, this is why you bring a backpack. This is a money case. They're about 1.2, 1.7 mil on the market right now. You got a Nexar camera lens. So you're here. You've got all this loot on you now. So what I would do, if you've gotten to this point and you have killed one guy or haven't killed anyone, what you want to do is you would typically, you have about, what I'd say, about close to 3 mil worth of loot on you right now. So you want to try to get the hell out of there. So the next phase of this, once you've cleared these 2 rooms, is you want to go downstairs. Now, these fights, for me, are my favorite fights to take, because there's 100 different ways to aggress it. There's a bunch of ways to escape. There's a bunch of ways to just play it out so that you can put yourself in an advantageous position. Because that's about the biggest thing about this game, is putting yourself in a winning scenario. So if you are coming down here, what I like to do, obviously pre-aim these angles. People like to sit at these sandbags, wait for you to come down. So just full sprinting down here, never really a good call. So when you get your loot out of the marked room, come walking down here, pre-aim this. I've seen people sit here and camp here. Look down here. Sometimes you can catch people coming from White Pawn, walking over, not White Pawn, I apologize, from Drop Building, making it so that you can see them through this little area right here. You want to pre-aim this angle right here. People like to sit on these sandbags. If you don't see anyone, come down here. Now, once you're here, there's places on the map where you want to try to sit and listen. You want to try to use your ears a lot, especially when you're playing solo. When you sit here, you want to be listening for footsteps. You want to be listening for glass breaking. You want to be listening to anything that can give away someone's position, right? So if you come here and say you hear something to your right, you know that you need to pre-aim this in a different way. Now, this is another area that you need to keep in mind. If you hear someone over here, then you need to make sure that this is an angle that you pre-aim. But more often than not, people are going to be what I like to call the main power room. This right here is the main power room. This whole room right here, this big center room with the crates inside of it, this is what I call main room of power. The reason I call this power room is because back of this hall, there's a lever. You have to press this lever so that you can extract at D2, okay? So this lever has to be pulled. The power has to be turned on to extract D2. Now, here you've got a ton of loot in these cabinets right here. So since you're already here, because you have to turn on the power anyway, this is an area where you want to try to grab some loot while you can. Now, if you're greedy like I am, inside these offices, there is quite a few intel spawns. Intel spawns on this desk right here. This is another marked room. For the love of God, I do not recommend buying this key. This key is not worth it. This marked room is not worth the price. The reason this key is so expensive, by the way, is because this marked room, quote unquote, has the highest percentage chance of spawning docs cases and wallets. Now, the reason why that's a big deal is because inside of docs cases and wallets, you have a potential of getting red key cards, violet key cards, other key cards of that nature. So if you do get a wallet and it does have a key card in it, obviously that would pay for that key 100 times over. But I have hit this room probably over 100 times, and I've never gotten anything worth of value. So the next step, next thing you want to do, if you have this key, obviously use it. It gets you into the marked room. You got a chance at a red key card. But your next chance, the reason I told you to listen for glass, because what a lot of people will do, they'll either pull out their hatchet or they'll pull out their gun and they'll break. Okay. Fun fact, that glass isn't wanting to break. But they'll break this glass. This glass is very, very loud. So when you hear that glass break, you know exactly where they are. So when you're coming down that ramp from marked room to the main power room, you hear glass break. You know there's at least one person in this area. That also running through the glass. Also very, very loud. These are sounds that you want to keep in mind. You want to listen for these sounds. You want to try to position yourself to battle someone like this. So the reason why you'd want to break this glass and come in here, there's intel spawns on every single one of these desks. At least a chance of it. Right here, for example, intel, boom. Put that in your docs case. This is why I use a docs case when I go to reserve. There's a ton of intel on this map. There's a ton of chances of you finding it. You want to make sure that you have a chance of putting it in your ass. Now, there's, you know, crates like this. There's a bunch of stuff all over the place. Intel chances here. I've also heard that there's a chance of intel spawning inside of these. I've never seen it personally. I've heard a lot of people tell me that they have seen it, so it's something to keep in mind. So also in here, intel spawn, intel spawn, intel spawn, intel spawn, intel spawn. Now, things you need to be aware of once you've hit this point is, in main power room, people can be coming from here, from the drop room, or from behind you. Once they've gone marked and they see that it's already hit, they could be coming down. These are sounds that you need to be listening for. Over here, this is what I like to call tech room up there. They call it white king or white queen. This is what I like to call tech room. It just makes it easier for me. It makes it easier for the people I play with. So this is tech room side. This is over here, water, another huge sound cue. This is water. This is med building if you go up there, or white bishop. This water, remember these sounds. This is an obvious giveaway. Big thing about water, if you hear them in the water and you're close to it, throw a freaking grenade in here. They can't run. Once you're in water, you can no longer run. You can no longer jump. You are literally a sitting duck. So you can throw a grenade in here. They can't get away from it in time. They're dead. So listen for water. Now from here, this is tech stairs. I'm going up tech stairs or metal stairs, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, from where we're at right now, the amount of loot that we have on us, this is not something that we want to deal with. Now, if we didn't have any of this loot, say you hit both marked rooms, say somebody already got there before you and already extracted with the loot, and you don't have all that much loot, this is a area that I like to take, especially if I have an empty backpack. You want to go up tech stairs. Now, watch this. This is a commonly fucking contested area. People can be coming down from tech wanting to fight you. So I like to come up here, pre-aim this angle. I like to be watching. If you have the KS shotgun, obviously you want to try to get a little bit closer. So I like to walk up to the stairs as I'm pre-aiming. People can be inside these rooms. The rooms that you really want to be cautious about is this one. There's a key that opens that door that has intel spawn. So you want to try to like aim this one out like, hey, is anybody in here? And then you want to push up these stairs. Once you're up these stairs, this is another angle that you want to pre-aim. Someone can be in here. I like to stop right here at these stairs where it's not a commonly peaked angle. Someone's not going to be shooting at you right away. I like to stop and listen. Stop, listen. These are huge advice that I can give any new player. If you're playing solo, sound is your friend. Always make sure you have some type of headphone on, because without headphones, you're going to be playing pretty much deaf, you know, and that's putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. So at these stairs, you want to stop. You want to listen. If you hear people to your left, you know they're in what I like to call the server rooms of this building. If you hear them above you, you know they're at these stairs. So what I like to do is if I hear them to my left, I like to pre-aim this. Remember, these grates are your enemy. I have lost a ton of gunfights because I'll have, you know, a shotgun and half of my spray gets absorbed by this metal crate. If this door is shut and they are sitting here, say they're sitting here, one of them sitting in this close hallway. If they're sitting here, this is not a fight you want to take with any gun at all. Even if you have this gun, this fight, half of my bullets just got absorbed by that metal barbing. So it makes a fight that would be a skill-based fight into a luck. Whoever doesn't hit a bar and hits you in the face is going to win. So if you peek this and you see someone standing here, or if you hear someone in this hallway, do not take this fight. It is not worth your time. Either run back downstairs and extract, try again, reset, get the hell out of there. Or what I like to do, if you want to take the fight, run upstairs. Make sure you peek these angles. People can be holding these. You have to go to third floor. Remember, peek angles. Always be looking for the corner. People like to be sitting there. So peek this, and then come down. This will take you to garage. Garage is the backside of where they were standing. Now, once again, only take this path if you see people in that hallway, if they're contesting you and you want to fight it. You can come down through here. Obviously, there's places all over this garage that you can be fighting. Now, this is what I like to call garage. Garage of tech building is, you know, highly contested area. There's a lot of loot that spawns on these shelves right here. A lot of military cables, a lot of military filters, circuit boards, all these different things like that. I've also seen graphics cards and Tetrises spawn on these shelves as well. So this is obviously a place that, you know, is worth searching. From here, these are the night buildings on the other side here. I'll show you. This is nights. One of the nights right here, this is Black Knight. Then the building across from that building is White Knight. In my opinion, if you're trying to make as much money as you can, as efficiently as you can on this map, you do not want to fight here. You do not want to fight in Ks. These are all wide open areas where there's about 800 angles that people can be shooting at you from. They can be shooting at you from Dome. They can be in the upstairs of the Knights buildings. They could be out here just camping this area as well. These are not good fights for you. Do not take these fights unless you want to actually fight people on the map. If that's like your goal. If your goal is not to make money and it is to just fight, these are good areas to go. But our goal right now is to try to make money, right? So remember, you saw people in this hallway right here. So instead of trying to fight them through that grate, you went upstairs, you came down through garage, and you want to come through here. Now, this is another difficult area to fight, but it's much better than trying to deal with that grate. So you're coming through here. Remember this sound. If you're in this building and you hear wood, that means they're in the gymnasium. This is the only wood in this area. So if you hear wood, you know exactly where they are. All right. So this is where the fight's going to pop off, right? So they're most likely going to hear you run upstairs. Now, if they're experienced players, they're going to know that you're coming for this fight right here. So they're going to be pre-aiming it. Commonly held angles are holding this server rack right here. He's going to be lean peeking right here. Inside this room, they're going to be lean peeking this doorway. So when you come through this, you want to try to get through. You want to try to wide swing this. And the reason you wide swing it is because if you try to take this close angle, you have to worry about this guy, and if they're a duo, you got another guy here. So you could potentially take this fight, get hurt, and then when you try to swing, this guy's going to finish the job. So what I like to do if I'm running this KS shotgun is I like to wide swing this to reduce my chances of getting shot by multiple people. So if he's holding here, obviously, boom, you hit him in the legs. He's gonna try to run away towards his teammate, or if he's by himself, he's gonna try to run away. You want to try to push into these servers. Now, again, these are also angles that you want to try to pre-aim. Boom. You want to run through here. Boom. Best thing you can do when fighting solo on this map is you want to try to take one-on-one fights as much as possible. It just increases your chance of survival, right? If you can win one gunfight, you want to try to win that one gunfight. You also want to try to put yourself in a situation where you can either run away or find cover to either reload, heal, or to just get disengage from the fight. So, you've made it in here. You've either killed this guy or he ran this way. You run to here. Boom. Once again, on these server shelves, tons of loot on here. So, boom, you're shooting him here. Now, his teammate is most likely going to be sitting either in here or in this hallway, right? So when you come through here, you're running through, loot this, you fought those guys, now you're coming back through, now it's time to extract. A big note that I like to give new players is this door spawns shut. So, from where we came from, if we don't have a bunch of loot on us, or say we have like a decent amount of loot on us, like maybe not the money case, but the rest of this stuff, it's a decent amount of loot. You're not gonna go home broke. It'll pay for your kit, it'll pay for your run, it's worth doing. So, if you have decent loot, and you're like, you know what, I want to try to make more money, I'm going to go into tech building, see if I can get myself some money. If you see this door open right here, this is a dead giveaway. If I lean this and I see this door open, if I have 0 loot, I'll take the fight, because that means someone's in here, or they were here, correct? So, when you come up here and see this door open, you can decide, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Because if I have a decent amount of loot on me, I'm like, this building has already been looted, right? They've already grabbed all the high tier loot. There's really no point of me being here anymore. So I'm going to just see this door is open and go, fuck that. I don't want to do it. I'm out of here. So when you come back through here, I like to stop at the top of these stairs. Every single time I like to stop at the top of these stairs. The reason I like to stop at the top of these stairs is because you can get a crud ton of audio cues from this area. So when I'm standing here, I can hear if they're walking on metal, if glass breaks, if I hear a door open or shut, if I hear shuffling, if I hear someone running around. These are things that you need to keep in mind. Another reminder for you guys is this area, there is raider spawns down here. So you can run into, I've seen up to 8 raiders spawn down here. The more common is 3 to 5. So this is something that you want to be aware of. If you're rocking a KS shotgun, I do not recommend taking on raider fights. They have incredibly high HP on their limbs. You're going to have to shoot them in the legs 5 or 6 fucking times to try to kill them. If they don't have helmets on, you can try to take the fight, but a lot of times they will. This gun will not one-tap them through a helmet. It just won't do it. So, if you hear footsteps, you want to try to, my most common way of going through this area is a lot of people will like to, if you can see right here, will like to hold these stairs by being either on that sandbag or holding this angle. You cannot see them from where you are here. So trying to walk down these stairs is kind of suicide. Because the second you walk here, boom, you're already getting shot at. You do not have a good angle to fight these guys. They're going to be shooting at you long before you ever get a shot off on them. So the best way to take this area is you want to angle yourself here, run, jump, boom. You want to try to land on top of this server rack. The reason you want to try to land on top of this server rack is you don't want to break your legs. So when you land here, you have 2 angles that you want to try to fight. With a KS shotgun, this is not your friend. This is not a friendly angle for you. So you obviously want to still peek it, but if you see someone at the end of the hall, or if you see someone over here, you know where they are, they know where you are. You don't have a good fight here. This is not a fight that you really want to take. Now, if you peek this and they shoot at you, you can either take a few steps back, throw a grenade over top of this server into the room to try to get them off of their positioning. Now, the next angle that you have to really worry about, the first angle that you should worry about, is here. This is the ramp to D2 is what I like to call this area. This is the ramp to D2. Those are the stairs that take you towards D2. So a lot of people can be holding this hallway. They'll be sitting here waiting for you. Another area that I've seen people go to now is on top of this door right here. I'm going to see if I can get up there real quick. I've never done this before, so... yeah. So you can get on top of this door. You jump on top of this, and you jump on top of this door. People literally will sit here and wait. So this is another angle that you want to, you know, look up here, make sure no one's there. Now, if you see someone in here with a KS shotgun, not really a good fight to take. Now, if you got an MP7, not that bad of a fight. So you can lean in, see your fight, boom, boom, try to take those fights. But if you got a ton of loot on you like we do now, I just recommend getting the hell out of Dodge. So you land down, you just run straight across here, you're running up this ramp, make sure you want to pre-aim this, people like to swing on you here, come through here, pre-aim this angle, this is another angle that people like to hold, now you're running towards D2. I do remind you, this is one of the most camped extracts in the freaking game, literally, one of the biggest camped spots in the spot. So when you want to come down here, this is where you're going to be using a lot of grenades. You want to try to at least have 3 grenades by this point. If you don't have 3 grenades, it's going to be a little bit more sketchy, but it's still doable. You want to open this door. This is a commonly held angle. They'll be sitting here. Another angle is they'll sit behind this door waiting for you. They'll be here as well. When you walk down, check underneath this door. You can see feet under here, because what a lot of people will do is they'll sit back here. So when you open the door, it shuts them in here. They're going to wait for you to walk right by them, and they're going to shoot you in the back. So that's another commonly held angle. So these are angles. Boom, boom, and obviously boom. Now, the next area is what I like to call Death Tunnel. This area right here is easily the most camped area of the map, in my opinion. The reason it's the most camped area is because visibility is low. They get the jump on you. There's multiple angles they can be holding, and they're always going to get the first shot off on you. So what you want to do from this angle is you want to make sure you have a grenade. And so you pop the grenade here, you start the grenade here, and then you lean out, you take one step forward, and you throw the grenade towards this area. You want to aim up so that it gets all the way to the end of that hallway. The second that grenade gets thrown, you want to run to the right and sit on this spool. The reason you want to sit on this spool, even if you have a KS shotgun, is because this is cover for you. This is covering most of your body. Unfortunately, your head is still exposed, so you're in a pretty shitty spot. But the good news is if someone's sitting underneath this awning, that grenade's going to fuck them up and or kill them. A lot of people like to sit underneath these stairs here, so this is an angle you want to pre-aim. And the most common angle to be held is people up there. Now, if you have a flashlight, this is where flashlights come in handy. You want to black these out, and you want to put your flashlight up there so you can see if they're up there. But what I like to do when I'm playing solo, I throw a grenade down here, I like to run up here, and I like to take this off angle. So the reason I take this off angle is because this guy is expecting people to run here, his buddy is camping down here, you get a one-on-one fight, or you can shoot at the guy up top while you're hiding behind that spool, making it so it's 2 one-on-ones and not a 1v2. So now that we're here, make sure to look down into these crates. There's fuel spawns, there's tech spawns, there's like all kinds of cool stuff, helixes, all that kind of good jazz in this little area right here. Now that we're through here, the next camp area of the map, you're going to be looking here. That door spawns shut. This door spawns open. If you see these doors in any other way, you're in for a bad time. So when you come here, this is another stop, listen. You can hear tons of metal in there. There's a tons of areas where people are running. When you stop and listen here, you cannot shoot through this door. So you are safe for right now. When you're here, you want to listen for, okay, do I hear metal footsteps? Do I hear anything in here? If you hear nothing, obviously open the door, take a step back. I hug this wall because one of the most commonly camped angles in this area is someone from Dome will open this door and they'll either sit all the way back here with a sniper rifle holding this, sitting right here on this sandbag holding this, or they could be laying down right here. This is another common angle. They'll lay down next to this holding this. This is a bad fight no matter what. This is just a bad fight for you. You do not want to be here. And so from the start, when you come up these stairs and you're trying to extract and you leave, like, this is what I call a Jiggle Peak, by the way. It's a CSGO term, but in this game it also works. So what I like to do is I like to do this. Now that I see both of those doors are open, I'm sketched out, right? I'm not super happy about that because most likely someone's at the end of that fucking hall just holding for me. Or someone has already extracted. Let's hope it's the latter, right? So you want to shoulder peek this and you want to pre-aim all the way down this hallway. This is bad news because this is really the only extract that you got unless you have Red Rebel. We'll talk about that later. But right now you want to try to walk down, push as you're aiming. You want to be looking for a silhouette of a person. You want to see if there's a head there. Anything that looks out of the ordinary. If you see them, obviously, bap. You want to try to fight them there. The next common angles to be held is in here and on the server racks. Now, if you see someone sitting here, more than likely he's got a teammate, and his teammate is sitting close. So a lot of times his teammate will be sitting here. He's like, oh, yo, he's at the hallway. The second you start shooting him, he's like, yo, I need help. This guy will swing on you and end your fucking day. So if you're coming through and you see him, you know, pop some shots. What you can do is you can hug this right side, and then you can throw a grenade off the ground here, bounce it off the ground, and like kind of roll it that way so that you can hear if there's a guy to your right? Once again, you want to try to put yourself in a scenario where you're doing 1v1s only. You do not want to put yourself in a scenario where you're fighting multiple people at a time. It's just not very good. It's not good tactics, right? So you want to try to bounce a grenade off this ground. You want to try to get it through that door just so you can get a sound cue. You can hear him, you know, either do one of these, you know, like jump out, like run away, all of these different things. Or maybe he'll even like swing on it and try to go into here. These are things you want to try to listen for. You want to be prepared for. Now, if you come through here, you walk all the way through, you don't get shot at, no one's there. I like to jiggle peek this. I'll jiggle peek this angle because people like to sit right there. And then I like to jiggle peek this angle. And then the next thing I like to do, we call it the suicide jump. This is something personal that I like to do, is the second I jiggle peek both of these angles, I know no one's there. I'll take a step back, I'll run and jump over this. The reason I do this is because you're a faster moving target. It's harder for them to hit a headshot on you. It's harder for them to hit you in general. Now, when you're down here, if someone starts shooting at you, listen for the gun sounds. If they're up here, you can try to run up here, try to take this fight, try to take the fight up here. It's just, it gives you an opportunity, right? Because if you just try to walk through and you get shot in the back, you're not going to have a high chance of survival. Now, that we're in here, let's talk about the loot that's here. There is an ASA spawn on these server racks, more commonly here than anywhere else, but all over these server racks there's a chance of an ASA being spawned. So these racks are absolutely worth searching. So come through here, look for the ASA, open this door. Inside here there's an intel spawn, there's a safe. Intel spawns on this shelf. There's a safe here, obviously. There's safe loot. So, yep, right there, Bitcoin, some money, you know, grab all that. You can put it in your money case, whatever. If you're really low on loot, you didn't really grab a whole lot, you can obviously search the computer. If you know there's no one down here, if you're not, like, hearing anything, this is a pretty safe place to loot. Now, next thing you want to know. This is the home stretch. We're almost there. The home stretch of this map is someone can be sitting here, someone can be sitting behind this door. I like to take this fight. Someone likes to sit here sometimes. So, you know, peek all these angles. You want to be super cautious of all these different angles to peek. And then you want to try to grab here. Next place you want to sit and listen. Here. You want to walk to here. You want to listen. hear if you hear any shifting, any shuffling, anything out of the ordinary. You want to be listening for it. Now, if you don't hear anything, the common angles to be set is behind these oxygen tanks. They'll sit in this dark corner, so make sure you're pre-aiming this when you come down. I have seen people get on top of this light. It's very uncommon. I don't see it very often, so don't let it stress you out too bad. I mean, maybe give it a little peek if you're there. Look here. Another angle to be held is people like to come back here, and they like to lay down. I don't even know how to do it. Yeah, so they'll lay down back here, and the reason they're doing this is because they have a teammate in the other room waiting for you. So you could run by here, and what they'll do is the second you walk by this... Jesus. The second you walk by this, you're not really expecting someone to be laying there. I like to just walk over here for a second, just peek it, and then this is the next angle. I like to pre-nade this. This is one of the areas that I like to just throw a grenade down that hallway, listen to hear if I hear any footsteps, let it blow up. The reason people lay that back down here is because when you take this fight, if there's someone there, you try to shuffle back, he's going to stand up and shoot you in the back. So this is obviously a fight. Make sure you check all of these server areas. Military cables and stuff spawn down here. 2 jackets. Intel spawns on this desk. You got a duffel bag. Open this door. Some people like to hold this door, so make sure you pre-aim this angle. You come through. Boom. You got people up here that would like to sit up here. You hit the button. And congratulations, you just made it out of reserve. So what I like to do is that door takes some time to open. I like to hit the door, come over here, search these jackets, search the duffel bag. You're obviously safe. There's not a lot of people that can fight you here. So that's reserve. I like to run it fast. I like to try to get in and out as soon as humanly possible. These raids, on average, will not take longer than 7 or 8 minutes, right? These are raids that are quick, fast, efficient. You want to get in and out.